Back in the day, when I first became a Buddhist, I was able to obtain a book called Jodo Shinshu Handbook for Laymen. It was written in 1982 and published by Hongwanji International Center in Kyoto, Japan. So I recently picked up the copy of my book, and I noted that I had done a lot of underlining in it, and I thought I would take the time to go ahead and recite some of the sentences that I underlined. And for anybody who has the book, I'll indicate the page numbers. On page 3 it says, "Buddha is always at work and will never rest until all are led to realize the world of truth." Then, on page 4 and 5, we have, "We must find a firm and immovable foundation upon which we can securely anchor our lives. Such a base, unaffected by changes in time and place, is the true teaching of the Buddha. If we are able to work and live on the firm ground of true faith in Amida Buddha, life itself and the elements which would normally lead us to despair and frustration will be converted into sound purposes and objectives." The following is a story that I heard from a woman. "In a small village, I once stood on a street paved with concrete. My eyes were attracted to a few blades of grass growing through a crack along the pavement. The tips were yellowed by the blazing sun of midsummer. Spontaneously, I put my hands together and said, 'Namo, Amida Butsu.' These blades of grass, by struggling to stay alive, were producing oxygen so vital for my existence. As I realized the invaluable work of nature, I could not help but express my deep gratitude by saying the Nembutsu for all the blessings that are given to me. I also felt it gratifying to know that I was literally brought up by Buddha's guidance to learn to really appreciate these blessings. I found happiness in life to be the fact that I now had the eyes to be really thankful for everything around me, when before I used to let even important things go unnoticed, was forgetful, and even took things for granted, and above all, was now able to consider all things to be blessings and benevolences from the Buddha. True happiness is that which wells up within our hearts when we hear the Dharma." On pages 6 and 7, religion teaches us to live by deep introspection into our existence, rather than by being concerned only with our superficial actions. Accordingly, it is the religious way of life alone that makes me realize that I cannot live without committing wrongs. Religion is definitely necessary for us to live a sincere life. Basically, we have a tendency of living with the idea that things will turn out the way we want them to, despite the fact that they may not. This is the cause of our anxieties and sufferings, and we are apt to put the blame for these sufferings on others and other things. Unless we change our ways and thinking, we will never be able to get out of the continuing cycles of delusions. It is Buddhism that makes us aware of our delusions and enables us to cultivate a right attitude and gives us direction in leading a stable, sound, and positive way of life. And on page 8, "Other power is the primal vow of Amida Buddha, by which we are led to become aware of and sorrow and shame that our lives are motivated by self-centered desires, and to attain Buddhahood, which is the essence of our true life. We must forsake the way of lustful selfishness, and, through the awareness of the law of cause and effect, live a life of deep faith in the Nembutsu." And on pages 10 and 11, "We have become so inured to unusual happenings in life that when they do happen, we no longer are astonished and take them for granted. This is one of the reasons why there seems to be no feeling of gratitude anymore. People who face life squarely and see the wonderful mysteries therein will regain the ability to become astonished at being allowed to live. It is also a matter for deep gratitude to know that by the guidance of Shinran Shonin, we are led to see the true aspects of life, and above all, to realize that our salvation and attainment of enlightenment, which normally would never happen, is assured by the working of Amida Buddha's great compassion. This is the reason for being deeply and truly grateful. True religion must first be concerned with the basic problems of humans and bring into awareness the unadorned nature within us, and then give us the direction and wisdom to resolve and overcome life's problems. And on pages 12 and 13, Buddhism calls for deep personal involvement. This is the Dharma that will enable me to become a Buddha, and through the compassion of the Buddha, not only will remove the cause of my present suffering, but will also enable me to live a life of spiritual peace. No matter how much science may advance, religion must give direction to humans regarding their basic anxieties and sufferings which science alone cannot resolve. And on 14 and 15, as long as a human is an unenlightened being, Buddhism will give him or her guidance to resolve his or her basic delusions. Amida Buddha not only gives deliverance from suffering and sorrow, but also through guidance makes us understand the real purpose of life and shows us the way to live in the most meaningful way. And on 16 and 17, Buddha means the enlightened one, who awakens others to the truth to which he himself has awakened. Buddha possesses the wisdom and compassion to enlighten others. In Jodo Shinshu, birth in the Pure Land and attainment of Buddhahood are through the primal vow of Amida Buddha. For this reason, we revere and worship Amida Buddha as our spiritual parent who gives deliverance to all.